this event. I don't know if it's complete yet, but I believe a lot of the games coming up, at least in the next few weeks, have already been put in there. I wasn't going to mention the Jungle Ezreal thing, but I have heard about it as I was actually talking to some Australian players recently, and one jungler in particular who's fairly well known. Yes, I am safe from the fires, thank you for asking. So just quickly guys, there's a little bit of admin note. There was actually supposed to be a stream delay built on, but I don't actually have a delay server on my Twitch channel. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause this game just briefly, and that'll be the delay. I'm not going to pause for too long, but I will pause just now, give myself a chance to rearrange the portraits, talk about the players a little bit, introduce them, and then we'll go straight into the game from there. So don't worry, nothing has gone wrong. I'm just pausing the game and building some delay in for myself, if that makes any sense, just because I sadly do not have delay built in on my Twitch stream. I will try and get that organised for next time, make it a little bit smoother for everybody. But as it is, we do what we've got. The admins have asked me to add some delay to the stream just to prevent any sort of ghosting, and as that is a very reasonable request, I've decided to acquiesce. And this is my solution as we rearrange everybody else. Alright, that looks like everyone is all ready to go, and that should be enough time delay there between these games. So, kicking off here, Gigabyte StarsWar League. It's the second and final game of this evening. It's going to be a best of 2. We will get 2 games no matter what happens. And it's going to be the Taipei Assassins up against LGD. TPA on the left here, very well known team, absolutely incredible set of players. We're going to have Toys here playing on Rise Little Balls, going to be on a very well known champion. If it's going to be Olaf, in fact. He's going to be the jungler for their team. BB is going to be playing on Misfortune. Kazik's going to be piloted by Stanley. And last but not least, Dinter, the newest member of TPA. Mistake, of course, the old support, went over to captain the Taipei Snipers, who had a very convincing 2-0 against SKTT1. And Dinter, their new spot's going to be playing Blitzcrank here. LGD Pile, their support, going to be playing on Sona. Looking at Ward, does get it down there. Wards up that bush. A little bit of poke there with a Q as well, so gets nice vision there in that area. Zed here being played by Senu here for LGD. Looks like he's looking towards the bottom lane here in potential 1v2. In the mid lane, Tyrant going to be playing Morgana. Jarvan in the jungle being played by Bug. And last but not least on AD carry is Victor playing Ezreal. So it looks like we are going to have a early lane swap here for LGD. Zed is hunting around the bottom side of the map, so I assume he's going to go there. And we've got both Blitz and MF, I think, setting up for double golems here. So Dinter and BB are going to pick that up. So interesting to see how Zed does in this particular situation. He actually has a kind of interesting little bit of items here. He's got the Elixir of Fortitude and 4 health pots and a Sight Ward as well. So kind of an interesting little kickoff here. I wonder if he's got anything special planned. LGD going for a late invade here as well. Not going to quite get these wolves. Stanley will spot them out as well. Was doing a nice job spotting in that bit of shrubbery. And this could just be a straight up blue steal here for LGD. I think it's going to be. Little Balls has backed off, going towards his own red now. And there is going to be a nice steal there for Buck. He's not even going to have to use the smite. So he can run straight to his blue if he needs to and maybe try and smite. Although Olaf is already there with the BB and Dinter in tow. Nice ward there from Blitz as well. Just getting vision here of this area in case anybody comes around. It looks like in the end we're going to actually just have the blues being traded off here. And that should go to Olaf. There we are. So nice response there from TPA. Realised quickly they were getting invaded. We're able to secure the blue. Even if it was the enemy blue, they're able to get a blue here. And blue very important for Olaf early on in the jungle. You can actually see that Little Balls has gone quite deep in utility here actually. Has himself the total biscuit of rejuvenation. But Olaf's jungle speed really comes from spamming of those undertows. You can see him spamming the Mount now, just picking the axe up instantly there, AoEing down those creeps. So he needs to be able to spam those axes, especially early on, for maximum jungle efficiency. Jarvan, on the other hand, is kind of comfortable either way. Doesn't want to run out of mana, but he's not too fussed. Happy to clear out these creeps. He has double buffs now for himself as well. Bug secured the red very quickly. Now has level 3 with double buffs and a point in each ability, so maybe going to look for a very early gank here. Bug's actually looking around the enemy jungle. That was on the blue side. Could run into Little Balls here when they're level 2 with only one buff. It's the blue buff. There's the red buff being procced there from Jarvan. This could be very bad news for Olaf, who does have Ghost, a very popular summoner spell on Olaf. But Bug's going to have to back off here. He realizes that Rise is coming in. Undertow gets thrown out there from Little Balls. And Jarvan, for whatever reason, did not really want to go in there. I think he saw that Toys was backing off. Decided it was better not to just force it there and just get out with a little bit of damage. Bug, though, now looking around towards the middle lane. Maybe going to try and pick off Toys here in mid, but Tyrant's pushing in now. Tormented Soul has gone off. Nice Q actually there. The Dark Blinding will land on the toys. Tormented Soul underneath him as well, doing a nice little bit of damage. Meanwhile, in the top lane here, Victor and Pyle pushing very aggressively here onto Stanley, who wants to just spam the missiles out and get as much CS as he can. Turret's already taken a lot of damage down here in the bottom lane. And Senu, on the other hand, is also having similar issues, as his turret's also taking quite a bit of damage as Zed tries to CS as best he can. Currently 9-9 the CS battle there in the two different 1v2 lanes, so more or less even there. Both 1v2 lanes having about equally as much trouble, it seems like. And Jarvan here is going to try and even the balance up there. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky into the bush here. That was a really nice move there from Bug, but Dinter with a little bit of sixth sense there wards that bush, spots out Bug. And Olaf's down here as well, so we've got a party actually starting very quickly here. And what a place for a brawler if there ever was on Tyrant. They're getting in there, great attack biting onto toys. I think we are going to see first blood. He flashes out of the way, but already dead to that ignite. The Blitzhook just missing in there, and Bug now will get ghosted on towards his little balls. Gets in there with the undertow. Perfect axe placement there as well, trying to chase him down. There's the Permasoy coming out, and finally the flag toss combo from Jarvan will get him out of the way. And you can see the little balls are a very experienced Olaf player, throwing those axes perfectly to be able to pick them up while still getting that slow off on Jarvan and the damage as well. And Bug there eventually did get out with the flag toss combo, and poor Toys just kind of getting caught off there with the Dark Binding. Wanted to come in and help his team. He saw that there was action happening down towards the bottom lane, but unfortunately got caught with the Morgana combo and that ignite, just too much there for Ryze. And I think Toys wasted his flash in there as well actually. So he can't be too happy about that turn of events. First blood though does go to Morgana. And Tyrant couldn't be happier. The first turret of the game goes down very quickly yet again. Just like we saw in the last game, in fact, a minute later than the last one, but still fairly swiftly. 5.5 minutes, the top tower goes down as LGD's 2v1 lane does the damage there. Seems like TPA still working on it down here in the bottom lane. As the duo from LGD going to go back now. Vampiric up now for Ezreal. There's some boots of speed, a couple of health potions, and Sonar. Yeah, just a sidestone. I like this actually a lot from Pyle. I think so many supports are kind of keyed into, oh, I must have my Philosopher's Stone at all times. But you know, sidestone, it's very useful. It costs the same amount, so you do have to make that choice. Sonar had the option there. It's like, you know what? I'd rather have the sidestone. I'd rather have maybe the Ruby sidestone as well, because it's obviously a slightly upgraded version. Plus, the health is so crucial on a squishy support like Sonar. But just in general, I think, you know, the sidestone's essentially a GP10 anyway. You're not losing out a whole lot there. Just a nice little bit of awareness there from Pyle. It's like Senu will back off now. I think LGD have decided that dual lane's going to take their proper position here in the bottom lane. And try and 2v2 here. That will mean that this tower is going to be a lot harder for TPA to get. So this is kind of the thing that when we first saw this sort of lane swaps being introduced, when Azubi Blaze really kind of showed the world what that was like at that MLG Arena event. They often did this. They would push down a tower really, really fast. With Lulu Graves, that was their weapon of choice in that lane, and boy did that lane push hard. But they often try and get the first tower really quickly in that early advantage, because you do have a nice advantage early on in a 2v1 lane, and then switch to the bottom tower and try and push that hard, and then get 3 towers down very, very quickly. So LGD, if they kind of execute this correctly, they should find themselves a tower up in the early game and be able to convert that into more pressure. Of course, this does leave Kha'Zix fairly free to farm around this area, but LGD really want to keep the pressure on if they can. Little Ball's actually fishing around here. Nice steal there from LGD again, making sure that blue buff goes down. Little Balls was looking for it there, but he couldn't quite get it, and I believe that went to Morgana. No, not quite. Went to Jarvan. That's a very acceptable person to get that blue. Keeps it away from Ryze, who desperately wants blue buff at pretty much all times. And I think LGD are even going to go over to their own blue now and try and secure that as well. You can see Olaf just hanging out. Little Balls with his Philosopher's Stone. I think he knows where they're going. He knows they want to go for this blue. I think they're maybe going to split off Tyrant. Their rewards a little bit too early. If they'd waited just a second longer, they might have been able to spring the trap and catch Tyrant. But TPA, they wanted the vision. They wanted to make sure, and it cost them a kill potentially though. I mean, they can't know that. I, with perfect vision of the map, can see these things. Unfortunate there for TPA though. That might have been a kill there into Morgana. As it is though, Tyrant will safely get blue buff, and Morgana's going to be very happy with this situation. Ryze with no blue versus Morgana with blue. Very tricky stuff for Ryze. Ryze does not clear creep waves all that efficiently until he kind of levels up. And if he doesn't have blue buff especially, Morgana's just going to be able to auto push this lane as hard as she can. And it's going to potentially cause Ryze problems with last hitting at the turret. Can't imagine it causes too many problems. But Morgana's going to be free to roam as well. And that's really the big thing about being pushed into a lane. Yeah, sure, every now and then we'll deny a few more CS because you know, your opponent can't last hit at turret very well, but Toys is certainly mechanically sound. That's not what they should be worried about. What they're really worried about is Morgana roaming. And it seems like Torrent's going to have that freedom for the next few minutes while this blue buff lasts. Back over in the top lane, Stanley trying to do the farming. Zed actually really came out on the poor end of that early 1v2 swap. Currently 25 CS behind Stanley. Little Ball is actually camping up in here as well, trying to see if he can pick off Senu. Jarvan in here as well though, so could see 2v2 action, although I think Buggy's going to go back off to his own jungle now. Spirit Stone actually interestingly up for Jarvan. Not going to go for Wriggles or Madrid here, going for Spirit Stone instead. I feel like Jarvan definitely benefits from all the Wriggle stats, but maybe he really wants to regen as well. Looks like trouble down the bottom. BB picks up Pile there, and there's that Blitzcrank MF combo. Just all that damage coming out. Plenty of burst there with all the Blitzcrank skills, and of course, not forget Misfortune's ultimate plus double up. Currently now sitting at 4 points in that skill. Able to clean up the very squishy Sona, who likely got grabbed. And it's actually something I didn't mention before, probably because he had a lane swap early on, but traditionally Sona has been very, very poor against Blitzcranking lane. And that's kind of part of the reason why. You get yourself grabbed and you're in all sorts of trouble. Sona is just way too squishy. You are, as Papa and I like to describe it, a shooting gallery. It is just a Blitzcrank shooting gallery. And poor Sona, if you don't position perfectly, that's exactly what's going to happen to you. And that's what you can't afford to have happen. This BB there harasses nicely with the double up. Victor takes a nice chunk of damage actually. So TPA maybe getting a little bit of more traction here in the bottom lane here. Might be able to take out that turret, which they desperately want to do here. As I said, they're down a turret early, although it looks like a turret has actually fallen already. What happened there? Oh, it was top lane. Never mind. Top lane went down as well. I think I'm going crazy. No, I'm not going crazy. I just read the wrong stat. Never mind. Embarrassing. I read the kills, not the towers. It's alright, guys. It's alright. I figured it out. So, it is still 1-0, as I thought. The only tower still in the hands of LGD. Apparently, casting for 2 years hasn't attuned me to the spectator mode enough. We'll have to work on that. To be fair, spec mode hasn't been out that long. But it's alright, we'll deal with that later. One tower down for LGD. 1 killer piece here. And not a whole lot in it in the gold difference right now. Just again, more farming down here in the bottom lane. If Dinta can get another grab, he'll happily take it, but I think Sona's going to be even more careful than she was before. You can see Tyrant again still pushing Toys in here. The CS difference, it's marginal, but it's there. Blue buff has worn off now though, so Toy's going to have a little slightly easier of a time. This is Both Catalyst and Tear the Goddess up now as well. Already almost 200 bonus mana up on that tier as well, so Toy's well and truly on the way with his Rise build. Again, that's kind of thing, you need the Rod of Ages, you need your Tear the Goddess on Rise, but once you've got those items, you kind of start going, everything goes pretty well from there. So Toy's just going to happily CS there under the turret, as he's been doing for most of this laning phase. Bug looking for a gank here, potentially maybe a dragon as well. LGD decided that, you know what, had the early tower advantage, we want to get a little bit more control here. Want to start doing some more objectives, and dragon's certainly a key objective here. Dinter is going to spot them off, could maybe try and grab Pile here, but there's a bullet time actually coming up, but the smite will get a great crescendo there from Pile. Cataclysm straight in onto BB. And explosions happen, and MF just gets obliterated. Really nice ult there from Pile. I think unlucky not to get Blitz in there as well. Dinter did flash out of the way there, but BB not so lucky. Actually did not use his flash. Was apparently CC'd the entire time. He could not get out of the way. Just gets absolutely exploded there. As all 5 members of LGD just collapse on top of him. So BB will give up the 3rd overall kill of this game. 2-1 now for LGD. As Olaf comes down to collect a bit of the CS that MF has left here in the bottom lane. And Dinter, of course, gets in amongst it. The rocket grabs that. It's like, that's mine, little balls. Don't even think about it, buddy. That was my CS. Zed up in the top lane now. Still has that red potion. Has not used it yet. Again, still fairly far behind CS against Stanley here in the top. We've got Pickaxe Brutalizer here for Kha'Zix, as well as a Cloth Armor. Versus Doran's Blade Brutalizer here for Senu. He's definitely going to be wanting to try and catch up a bit more on CS if he can. Or just try and get some kills potentially here onto Stanley. Actually decided to level his E first, the Shadow Slash there. So it's going to be, of course, the double slow if he has his clone in position. And not to mention, it's good AoE damage as well. So able to clear out these waves fairly well. You can see there, gets all the last hits there under turret. Very nice job. But it's, of course, more about farming, I guess, maxing this first than about the poke and the harass with the Q. But it looks like he doesn't really want to fight Kha'Zix here. The missiles are just too strong. It's one of the things that can be quite hard to trade with Kazi, because he just leap missiles you. It's very hard to get away. Toys getting chased down by Morgana and Jarvan, who are looking for yet another kill, but Toys gets out pretty safely. Little Ball's actually setting up a trap. Maybe. Pings down to Jarvan, he knows he's there. Bug could find himself an axe to the foot. Axe to the knee, even. No axes anywhere. Oh, Dinter's actually setting up here. I think this could be a really nice bait here, potentially from Blitz. The rest of them coming up there. Blitz going to kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. Not where he wanted to be, and if he was baiting, I think he's doing it wrong. Dinter goes down there. Victor picking up that kill. Sniper duck binding there from Morgana and the blue buff as well. Nice transition here from LGD. I think Blitz, I don't know if it was warding or baiting or maybe a combination of both, but he's kind of caught with his pants down there in the river, and the rest of LGD quick to dispatch him there, getting themselves the 3rd consecutive kill for themselves. And Abyssal Scepter is the rush here for time, which is kind of interesting. Back when we used to see Morgana, Zhonya's Hourglass was the big thing. Everybody seemed to like rushing their Zhonya's Hourglass. Obviously it has great synergy with their ultimate Soul Shackles. It's just one of those things that kind of fits. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Goes together so well. Or peanut butter and chocolate if you prefer. Both those things are excellent. Instead though, we are going to see slightly more aggressive, slightly more laning oriented as well with this Abyssal Scepter rush. Although it'll be interesting to see what Tyrant does after this. But Morgana's doing pretty well so far. Mostly just a farm fest here in mid. You can see Rotovator's almost completely here for Toys. He's got both Catalyst and Blasting Wand, assuming that's what he wants to go for, of course. Which I imagine he does. And the CS pretty even between those two. Morgana again was pushing the whole time, but couldn't really make anything happen in terms of CS difference. Has not really been able to roam either, apart from that binding there onto Dinter, who was caught a little bit out of position. Has not really found a way to roam effectively. And if you can roam with Morgana ult, it's very, very powerful potentially. In fact, when we were seeing a little bit more Morgana, Teleport was actually a fairly popular summon spell on her. Just for those instant counter gank roams, or instant ganks, by teleporting in there using your ultimate. But as it is, it seems like just a fun fest in mid. And same down in bot there as well, as you have a quick check-in. Bloodthirst is up for both AD carries very, very quickly. Seems like everybody's decided what they want to do in terms of build. Other than that, it's a red pot to note there in the bottom lane actually on Ezreal. CS more or less even. Stanley continues to climb up here. Many, many missiles. Building up towards maybe an early Last Whisper here. Has both pickaxe and a longsword, as well as that brutalizer. Be interested to see exactly what he wants to finish first here, but clearly values a lot of early AD. Certainly helping in this lane. He's been able to keep Zed kind of out of control right now. Soul Tracker's in the mid though, follows up after a Dark Binding, and Toys that will flash max range out of the way. Nice job there from Toys, just flashing just before the stun would hit him. Able to escape the great crescendo. Baby instant cleanse though. And I think it's going to be all she wrote for the gank here. Little Balls, they're coming back in. Great grab there from Dinter on the pile. And there's the Cataclysm following up there as well. Victor picks up 1 kill. Bullet time in there as well. But there's the double. So Ezreal just getting all he needs here. And BB flashes out of the way. Does get the 1 kill there onto pile. But 2 for 1 was not how they imagined that counter gank to go. And surprise Jarvan there as Morgana, I think, rotates down. No, it's Kha'Zix as Stanley gets himself exploded coming down the bottom lane. Just roamed his way down bottom thinking he can play janitor, and just gets eaten for his insolence. As BB continues to farm down here in the bottom lane. I don't know how. I have no idea how Stanley got down there so fast, but I think he may be regretting it now. Double Golems is going to be cleaned up here by BB as well. Again, it's just continuing to farm. As you're currently 5-0, could be a problem. I was noting CS there, but I just glanced over to the kills, and that is a lot of kills for Ezreal. In fact, that's almost all of the kills that LGD have here. And if there's one person that you want to get all the kills, it's probably your AD carry. Most teams wouldn't complain about having their AD as fed as they possibly can be. And Baby, for all his hard work, he's got 2 kills, he's only 1 death. He's got a great amount of CS here. Certainly not behind Ezreal on that front, but if we flick over to the gold, we might see a little bit of a different story. And there we are. Almost 1500 gold ahead. Great Black Shield there from Tyrant. Dinter saw a hook and he went for it. Tyrant already shielded up though. Of course, immune to that Kura control. Wasn't able to be grabbed. And it looks like Dragon's going to be contested here by both teams. Pink Wards go down. TPA clear out. Get exclusive vision here of this buff. And there's another Pink Ward. Pink Wards are plenty here from both teams. LGD get the better end of that one, taking that out. And even get a bonus ward up there in the top as well. just north of this pink ward here. So I think we are going to have a 5v5 standoff here. It's just a matter of who goes in first. Crescendo almost back up for Pyle as well. Very, very key team fight spell that they want to have. Deathmark available here for Zeg. Cataclysm almost back up here for Jarvan. It's just kind of a who blinks first scenario. You know, Blitz is looking for a grab. You know, Sona's looking for a Crescendo. LGD, I think they want to go in. The TPA, they know Dragon's important now. They want to fight for it. Both teams do. It's often interesting when two teams do this as well, because often one team should usually give up Dragon. There's Dragon going down. Great smite there from Little Balls, actually cleans it up, but Tyrant comes in with a Soul Shackles. The damage goes out. Great ult there from BB as the bullet time goes in. Picks up a double kill very quickly there. Senna dives in the back there. BB goes down. The double for Victor there as well as he picks up Kha'Zix and MF there. And the triple, sorry, as he picks up MF. Got one earlier as well, and Dinta going to complete the quadra as Victor goes absolutely massive in there in that team fight. Completes the ace for his team. And when it's all said and done, 5 for 3 there in favor of LGD, with the Dragon going for TPA. Very, very close fight between those two teams. But Victor just keeps getting stronger and stronger. 9-0-1. Had a big impact on that team fight. And TPA, they set it up pretty well, but could not stop this Ezreal. And Ezreal is a problem. He's a real problem. Static Shiv, Bloodthirster, and probably some other obnoxious item coming up as well. Be curious to see what Victor wants to go for next. Last Whisper straight up. Ezreal is... He is ready. He is now the driver of the pain train. And he is going to chugga his way down to wherever he pleases. And as I said, this is the problem. This is the big problem. And it's kind of funny when you peer back up at the gold difference. There's not that much between these two teams. It's 1,600 gold in favor of LGD. But I've been willing to bet that almost all of that difference is concentrated into Ezreal versus MF. Yeah, more or less. Ezreal's actually close to, yeah, more than 2,000 gold ahead of MF. That's almost all the gold difference that LGD have. Ezreal is just a lot of what they're about right now. So Victor can keep playing well. Keep doing what he's doing. He's going to cause all sorts of problems here for TPA. We've got Warmogs finished up for Little Balls, so that's nice for him. Went for very fast Warmogs, in fact. Didn't even build his Hunter's Machete into anything more. Didn't need a Madrids. Didn't need a Spirit Stone. Just needed a Filler Stone and a Warmogs. Because he's Little Balls. He does what he wants. Turret goes down there in the bottom line. Little Balls actually down there pushing slightly. Minions doing the rest of the job there, taking out that turret. 3 for 2 now, the turret's goal. TPA actually leading in turrets after that turret kill. But again, LGD seem to have a nice little bit of momentum here, mainly with this Ezreal. Dinta takes so much damage. They're getting crit there as well, actually, by that auto attack. Does get Moon prisoned up there by Toys. Great Crescendo coming in as well. Diving out onto Rise. They will pick that up. Sona goes down there as well as Dinta picks up Pyle. And now Stanley in the top gets Ezreal. Very key kill there for TPA. And LGD, they're getting chased down. And this is the problem. Great axe there as well. Cleans up Morgana. And Bug has pretty much got nowhere to run at this point. He flag tosses over there. BB though flashes over the top. He wants that kill. He needs one more auto attack. Can he get it? BB, he needs one more, and there it is for the ace. And a complete reversal of the last fight that we had. 5 for 3 in favor of TPA this time. No Dragon to speak of. And Stanley there, a very key assassination onto Victor. Very, very key. And you saw as soon as Ezreal dropped, there was almost nothing LGD's team could do. I mean, when we already carry Sped, and they have an AD and you don't, that's kind of what happens.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
So +2 on kills and the turret there in mid for TPA. And they get themselves the gold lead. Not by much, but they get themselves the gold lead. Just over 1,000 here between these two teams. And this game's really, really hitting up for a game 1. I think people are expecting a stomp potentially of TPA over LGD, but LGD are really making a run for it here in game 1. But TPA, they are very big favourites in the crowd. A much loved team, and rightly so. They're great to watch, they're great personalities, they're absolutely great to talk to. And they are not done yet, that's for sure. They will not let Victor be the sole cause of all their problems. And Stanley actually has a very quick Last Whisper here. He's also got himself a BF sword, but he's apparently not interested in Black Cleaver right now. He wants more and bigger AD. So the Brutalizer for the pen and a little bit of cooldown reduction. Essentially, anyway. Of course, it does give you a little bit of AD. BB now. Black Cleaver up for Misfortune. This is something we've seen a lot on a lot of Misfortunes. That bullet time, of course, procs the Black Cleaver stacks, I believe, with each hit, which I think procs every 0.5 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. So actually, let's have a look. I think it channels for 4 or 5 seconds? 2 seconds, okay. So I believe her ultimate will proc, by the time it's done, it'll proc all of Black Cleaver, if my understanding of how that works is correct. But it very quickly stacks up the Black Cleaver, and that's why I've been seeing a lot of it on Misfortunes. That's part of the reason why Misfortunes has been so popular. It's just the strength of her ultimate bullet time. People somehow realized, even though it hasn't been changed for so long, that Misfortune's ultimate's pretty good. Maybe it was Black Cleaver that's tipped it over the edge. I don't think so personally, but it's nice to see MF back in the play. She's probably my favorite AD carry, not to show any bias here. She's come back in a big way. Looks like Sunfire up for Little Balls now as well. So going for lots of efficient tanky items here. Plenty of health. A little bit of armor there. From both his Ninja Tabi and the Sunfire cape. Not particularly interested in Magic Resist right now, but hey, why not? Grab there. Oh, just misses there as Sono flashes out of the way. Good flash there from Pyle, actually. Definitely got to be aware of ever getting grabbed as Sono. It hurts. It really hurts. Undertow there, just fishing for a bit of vision there as Little Balls. Wants to know what's up. Looks like Dragon must be back on the way. And there it is. Pops back up. And TPA, they're going to go back on it. Last time, Little Balls very sneakily smited it to clean this one up. I think he's hoping he doesn't have nearly as much trouble picking this one up. But here comes the rest of LGD. Is he going to do it again? Can Little Balls do it? How good is his smite? Not good enough this time. Ezreal picks out, but here's the team fight. Crescendo comes out. There's the Soul Shackles. Leap away there from Stanley. BB trapped in the Cataclysm though, but still doing plenty of damage there. Bug will finally take him out. Dinter goes low and goes down. Victor will go drop here as well as Stanley's going in, but not before a last kill there for the triple. Actually, the quadra there as Olaf and Blitzcrank feel the pain. And Stanley with the double, trying to chase down Tyrant for the ace. Short. Maybe it was only a triple for Victor. It looked a whole lot like a quadra there. But Ezreal continuing to get kills. Does go down finally. Stanley and Toys the only two left. Stanley wants to dive. Will he do it? Be a man, Stanley. Be the man I know you are. Stanley, you disappointed me today. Son, I am disappointed. But that's okay. He's going to get red buff instead. And Toy's going to get blue buff. Effective little bit of counter juggling there from both solos here from TPA. And Toys has a Kindle Gem. Is he going to be able to Spirit Visage? He might. He has a Hextech Revolver as well, which is not something I've seen for a while on Rise. How much Spellbound does he actually have? I'm curious now. It's 12 for the Revolver, right? Yeah. Does he have more? No, he has 12. Okay, so he does not have Spellbound runes or anything like that. No Spellbound Mastery either. Which, to be fair, is something we do see every now and then on Rise. I do like to go quite deep in utility from what I've seen. But no, Toys just decides, you know, I want a little bit more sustained damage. I mean, Rise is definitely a, he's kind of a consistent DPS style champion. He's not a burst AP, like, say, Annie, for example, who does more consistent damage over time, like Cassiopeia. Just constantly DPSs you, kind of like a carry. In fact, when they remade Rise, that was kind of the design statement. They said they wanted to make Rise feel more like an AP carry, in a sense that you do consistent damage with your spells, rather than just do burst damage. Much like an AD carry would do damage with their right clicks, they wanted an AP carry to do damage with their spells. So Rise, again, he casts so many spells with his passive, just spamming out his low cooldown abilities. So, you know, the spellbound makes a bit of sense. So he gets he does get spellbound off his ult as well, yes, 25%, so we'll augment that slightly as well. But it's been a while, that's all, since I've seen Hextech Revolver. This threw me a bit there. I'm interested to see what the Kindle Gem's for as well. I'd be quite excited to see Spirit Visage. But I don't know how necessary that is against a team with a lot of AD damage. Anyway, back to more pressing matters perhaps. We've got Ezreal with a GA also. That's fairly standard though, sadly. Nothing too surprising about that item choice. Spirit of the Ancient Golem actually up for Jarvan there. So tenacity plus health there on that one. Of course, without having Mercury Treads, he's going to get tenacity from another place, so happy to have it from that. Got Ninja Tabi instead though, along with his Warmogs. Again, lots of very tanky junglers here. Everyone seems to like their Warmogs now, just turns him into a kind of insta-bruiser. It's almost just that water. Or just dead Warmogs as it is, and you turn into a bruiser magically. But hey, I mean, if you need a cost-effective item, you need to tank for your team. Warmogs is a pretty good go-to in that respect. We've got Zona's Hourglass up for Tyrant as well. That was her choice, or Morgana's choice, his choice, I have to assume, after the Abyssal Scepter. And Blade of the Ruined King Last Whisper. Is the build there from Senu. Blade of the Ruined King is an interesting choice. Does that apply on clones? No, it doesn't, because the clones don't auto-attack. Damn, that would have been cool. Interesting, though. Obviously, the proc does magic damage as well, so maybe LGD are trying to mix up their damage traps a bit more. Curious. Not too sure about that one. I don't think it's bad. I just have not seen that one on Zed, that's for sure. Definitely see a lot of just essentially straight AD for the burst damage there. Zed opting for something slightly different here in this situation. Blade of the Ruined King definitely feels more like an attack speed scaling item rather than an AD scaling item. And Zed, of course, is more of an AD burst caster style champion, so hence my surprise there at the presence of that item. Other than that, nothing too unusual going down the items here. Sierra's Embrace up for Rise, which he opted for instead of Muramana. I think both options are perfectly fine. I don't know what the numbers say necessarily about which is better, but I think they're both quite good. Although I do like Muramana on Rise. I just like seeing all that burst damage. Last Whisper up for MF as well. Almost the same items. In fact, all the Giant Spells up for Little Balls. He's got a Giant Spell, a Sunfire, and a Warmogs, and right now he's going to put him to the test. The Rocket Grab just shy there for Blitzcrank. Bugler taking quite a bit of damage. The damage comes in there as well. Tyrant flashes forward with the Soul Shackles. Great ult there from Pyle. They're trying to turn this around, our LGD. And Victor with the GA will get assassinated there by Stanley, but comes back to life there. Senu goes down, picking up toys. Actually, they trade kills there as the double gets picked up there for Rise. Tyrant will get chased down there from Olaf. Victor, can he do it? Stanley chases him down. And there's the assassination there from Kha'Zix. And exactly how TPA drew it up. Just throw in the assassins, throw in the bruisers. And LGD, they did what they could with their initiation. But it was not enough. Not in the slightest, in fact. And 3 members of TPA still standing are more than enough to take out this Baron. And there we are. Baron Nashor. Now done for TPA. Only 3 of them get it. But I say MF and Kha'Zix are fairly important too to get it, and I think Olaf's totally fine with it as well. If nothing else, the rest of the team are more than happy for the gold. And now, of course, TPA have Baron. They don't have to worry about their opponents taking it. They've got the regen, they've got the stats from it. If there ever was a time to claim momentum, now is the time for TPA. That's always the way when you've got Baron. That's why it's so important to have control of it. So the global objectives will continue here slightly for TPA. They can pick themselves up a dragon as well. Give me 1 sec, just turning... Oh, where'd it go? Just turning down my game volume a bit. It's a little bit too loud there. That's a bit better. Hopefully that means the sound levels are a little bit better for you all. Just kind of noticed that, so tweaking that slightly. So, TPA, as I said, do have Baron. Looks like Glacial Shroud? No, Randy and Zerman. No, I am silly. I meant Frozen Heart, and Glacial Shroud, of course, builds into Randuin's to build Frozen Heart. Giant Spelt will build Randuin's, and now we have an Olaf with 4,000 HP. How much is that Vicious Strikes doing? I have to say, probably quite a bit of bonus damage. Wow, 40 bonus damage, plus the 28 flat that it gives you as well. So, close to 70 extra damage there for Little Balls there when he activates that W, not to mention the Spell Vamp and Lifesteal that he gets. So Olaf going to be hitting quite truck-like. Not to mention the fact that he's got about 1 million HP for them to burn through. Very tanky, very problematic person right now. And it's kind of cool to see this Olaf build. I mean, we've seen a lot of different builds on junglers recently. There's lots of great choices you have right now with the Hunter's Machete turning into so many useful items. But this is kind of pure tank Olaf. I mean, that's the thing with Olaf. One of the reasons he's so great scaling into the late game is that he essentially scales off health. His W scales off health, his Reckless Swing, the true damage, costs him health. And he's immune to CC for, I think, 6 seconds when he activates Ragnarok. So really just you want to be able to take as much damage as you can. He's got 226 armor, he's a tower diving machine. And it seems like he's not particularly worried about Morgana here. And I wouldn't really be either. Morgana does not really scare a bruiser with that much health. Not really known for her straight up consistent AP damage. She's just more about that ultimate. A bit of utility from both the snare and the black shield as well, of course. But Olaf knows that the targets he needs to take out are primarily going to be doing 80 damage to him. I think that's why he's chosen to have this many armor plus health items. And 4,000 health is a big number. That is a really large number. So I would certainly be afraid of little balls if I was LGD. I guess as we're now approaching the 35-minute mark here in this game, the kill scores you can see are currently still dead even. In fact, 19 to 19, 5-3 in turrets, currently in favor of TPA. And that Baron in particular has netted them a slight gold lead here of about 5,000 to 6,000 gold. But 35 minutes into the game, that is certainly approaching late game status. I think 40 minutes is probably when you can about say that, alright, we're pretty much at late game at this point. This is the general time where we expect late game to happen. I guess the question is, who wins in a 5v5 team fight? And I have to say, I think it's probably TPA. A lot of LGD's teams seem to be based on assassinating people. You've got Jarvan, who really just wants to get in early and be aggressive. And just snowball himself or other lanes as much as he can. Zed, very much an assassin. I mean, Sona's fine. Morgana's okay in a late game team fight. And Ezreal's going to be great. He's an AD carry. He's always going to scale well. But I think this Olaf in particular, and just the fact that Ryze as well on TPA, not to mention the fact that, you know, they've got, again, also an AD carry who's doing very well in the farm department. Feels like TPA's late game just a little bit better here. And they're playing these team fights really intelligently. Stanley is just always on the right target. I mean, it's hard to play an assassin like this because you are quite squishy. There's Cataclysm. Leaps out of the way. Little Ball's kind of trapped in the Cataclysm, but Ragnarok's out of his way. Ragnarok's out of the way of the Dark Binding coming in. And look at, I mean, Olaf's just untouchable. Just utterly untouchable. He took a reasonable amount of damage there. Blew Jarvan's ultimate and a couple of other cooldowns to get him just below half health for a brief second. Little Ball's already regen and life sealed his way back up though. He's just not bothered. He's not bothered at all. And that is part of the reason why I think TPA's team fight looks a lot better here come late game. And I think we're there now. I think TPA have correctly identified that we're a little bit behind in the early game. They definitely had the potential to snowball on us, so let's dial it back a bit. Let's go for late game. And they're here now. It's just a matter of, if they do have the better team fight, if my assumption there is correct, can they execute properly? Or do I underestimate something about LGD's comp here? We'll see. Dint is actually going very deep here. Good silence there. Great crescendo from Bug there as well. Powerful's not quite in time there to prevent that from being cast. Tyrant now going in as well with the Soul Shackles. BB a very key target. Will cleanse and flash out of the way there. Breaking that Soul Shackle. Stanley Void Assaults himself out of the way there. Leaps out as well. Key members in TPA do manage to get away there. Stanley, not a whole lot of health left. His fortune's got a decent amount, so not too worried. Life's still going to help a lot there. Almost back up to full there with Bloodthirster. Honestly, I think TPA are okay with what's happening. I realise that this is probably not the most exciting thing to watch. But I think TPA are just very comfortable in this position. I think they're confident in their ability as a team, they're confident in their experience, and they're confident in the comp that they've got here as well. Just a matter of being patient, you know. Stanley got low. There's absolutely no reason to go back in there when you could potentially have a disadvantage. Because really, if they have the late game, what are they afraid of? The only thing you really need to be afraid of in the late game, especially if you have the better comp, is just messing up. The thing that's hard about late game is that as 5v5 team fights become more important, your ability as a team and your ability to perform as a coordinated unit becomes truly, truly tested in a late game situation. Because those death timers are so high that if you mess up, if one person dies, that can offer me the end of the game for you. And some teams, they just can't handle that pressure. But TPA, they're an experienced team. They have absolutely got the metal to pull through from here. And as I said, I think they've got the comp to do it. Just a matter of taking this game away from LGD. They built up a nice little gold advantage here. I mean, when you look at the scoreboard, it wouldn't seem like the gold should be this much in favor of one team. And it will matter less now that the game is dragged on. Looks like Bug get himself caught there. But Cataclysms and then Flag Toss combos out of the way. Nice little trick there on Jarvan. The arena, as it's, I think, commonly known, is, you know, always good to initiate with, but can every now and then be used to escape as well. So, effective use of Cataclysm there from Bug to get himself out of trouble. Stanley, though, with all the distractions happening in mid, cleans himself up top turret. And again, TPA in no hurry. wandering themselves over to Baron, and this is a big mistake here for LGD to not have any vision of this. In fact, Stanley is going to do a little bit of the face checking here. Leaves himself out of the way there, and it's all really just smoke and mirrors. TPA pick up Baron Nashor, and now Stanley's like, yeah, let's go. Little balls there. Gets himself Dark Binded. Dark Bound? Cleans out the minions. So much armor on this Olaf. Got another chain vest. He's apparently just is really living the creed of I am an anti-carry, my name is Olaf. Oh, hook! I think shaved Morgana's head. Shaved her bangs there. Shaved her fringe. That's very close to being a grab. Would have been a sick black shield though if Tyrant had landed it. And not to be, sadly. Dinta though still fishing for a hook over the top here. Just one hook will change a lot of this for TPA, but I don't even think that matters all that much. Little balls again, just tanking everything. And that Baron regen is going to make it even more obnoxious for them to try and kill him. TPA now rotate mid, looking to do a little bit of damage to this middle turret. Got about 2/3 of its health left right now. And again, TPA very relaxed pace in this game. You can see LGD, they're just turtling at this point. They can't really afford to fight recklessly when the enemy has Baron. Got Home Guard up for Jarvan. Yeah, that is Home Guard. Megatron Cloak Chain Vest. So he's tanky. It's just a matter of can his team follow up? Can his team do more? Ezreal is now at 6 items. Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, GA, Static Shield, Last Wisp, and Ninja Tabi. He's done. Victor is done. This is pretty much all the damage he's going to be doing this game. The only way his stats get better if he buys some elixirs, he should do, or if he gets Baron buff. Or red buff, I guess, if you want to count that as well. Blue buff kind of helps there as well. And a nice little steal there from Victor. Staying vigilant. You know what? They probably don't have this watered. They're probably not here. Let's take their blue. And Toys actually going to be pretty annoyed to not have that. Looks like void stuff to pick up here. Toys, what are you building with these items? What are you building? Is that just... There is the Spirit Visage. So he's going the Spirit Visage route. He just wants to be even tankier, have more regen. Be that kind of battle tank mage. Be kind of closer to the front lines. I mean, he's a fairly short range caster, so you do have to be in and amongst it a little bit more. And I assume the Mystery Hextech rival will probably just stay that, if not maybe turn into a Will of the Ancients when he's ready. But Toys, apart from that, it's pretty much at 6 items as well. Misfortune, almost there, has a Zeal. And a Warmogs, which I only just noticed. I mean, we talk about 6 item IDs. We don't normally see a Warmogs in there as one of the 6 items. I'm sure this is going to spark all sorts of discussion on the forums. I'm sure. But that is, in fact, yes, that is a Warmogs on Misfortune. Decided that, you know what, my defensive item of choice is more health. And hey, why not? Can't be much worse than GA, right? Oh man, BB does take out the turret there. Tyrant going in there with the Soul Shackles. Cataclysm in there as well. Toys very low, gets picked up there by Bug, and BB kind of run out of the fight. The Little Balls are diving in for Victor. Great bullet time in there. Picks up Tyrant there as well for 1 kill. Little Balls picks up Bug in there as well. Zed will slay Kha'Zix there as Stanley goes down. BB goes down there as well. A triple for Senu. Picks up MF and Olaf. And Blitzcrank, the only one left alive, is overdrawing his way right out of the battle. And maybe I should eat some words about what I said about late game team fights. Senu cleaned people up there in that fight. I mean, part of that has to do with the fact that Toys didn't really get to do a whole lot that fight. In fact, his ultimate's still off cooldown. This is probably not a good sign, even though it does have a very short cooldown. Janitor Zed there, my goodness, cleaning fools up. And in fact, LGD actually probably going to get structures out of this. They're definitely going to get this inhibitor turret. I think they're probably going to get this inhibitor here as well. Blitzcrank, the only one here to defend. Toys up in 8 seconds. Not a chance. LGD, maybe they can do it. I mean, 7,000 gold in the hole as we approach 45 minutes is not really a difference at all. You can see most champions on both these teams have 6 items right now. We've got an Atmas finish for Olaf and another chain vest. Little Balls does not have enough chain vests. He hasn't bought enough. I think this is his 3rd one. Sunfire Atmas plus the one he's got now. He's got 314 armor. He is still the tankiest man alive. But there is plenty of damage coming up from LGD. I mean, he lasted for a while there in that last fight, but he could not do enough. And the cleanup crew that was Zed, the one-man cleanup crew, it did happen. Bloodthirst and up for Senu. He's got a Giant's Belt in there as well. In fact, Senu's a little bit far away from getting 6 items. Depending on what he wants to finish. He's probably got Black Cleaver, plus whatever Giant's Belt item he wants to finish. Please don't be another Warmogs. This is going to get ridiculous. It's going to be like the M5 game with all the GAs. Except with Warmogs instead. But yeah, 6 item Olaf more or less. Just the chain has to finish. Mercurial Scimitar actually up for Stanley is an interesting choice. Once that Quicksilver effect there to get out of that CC. The Super Cleanse, as it were, removes all debuffs from your champion currently. Which includes things that Cleanse cannot get. We've got an extra BF sword in there as well for Stanley. He's going to finish up his last item fairly soon. And apart from the supports, everyone's pretty much got 6 items. Looking over on the LGD side as well. Pretty close to being a similar story for them. Driving with a Negatron Cloak and an empty item slot, maybe a bit further away. Morgana as well. Very empty looking 6th item slot there. But I mean, right now in terms of late game, everyone's pretty much there with their builds. My prediction was that TPA had the late game, but LGD can fight like that again. Could be a different story here. Baron is also currently off the map. Is it right now? No, they do not. All 5 members of LGD just grouping here in the mid lane. They want to make something happen. But again, as the game gets later, every kill matters more and more. The death timers get painfully long. So Pile's going to go back for a couple more wards. Refill the Sightstone. There we are. 5 charges back, and an Oracles. Smart buy here from Pile. LGD probably very aware that Baron is due back very, very soon. There's Dinter with the Oracles as well. Also refill this Sightstone. Very crucial to have ward coverage even in late game. Especially when Baron's a factor. Will the Anxious finished up for Rise as well. In fact, a lot of items completed there for TPA, it seems like. Everyone got most of their inventories full. Just a matter of upgrading the last few items, potentially. But we are here, we are at late game. 46 minutes is late game. Yeah, I mean, there is still a gold advantage here for TPA. But it's not, you know, it's not so massive and no team is so behind that it's going to be an obvious ruffle stomp in the next team fight. This is serious business. And this really comes down to what is your comp like? And what are your team fighting skills like? What's your synergy like as a team? What's your chemistry like? Because whatever edge you have in comp can be completely neutered by one little mistake.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Turret goes down there to minions in the top lane. TPA looking, little balls, throws out the axe. A little bit too close there. But does not get jumped on. He's probably happy about that, to be fair. He is a giant damage sponge right now. And in fact, he's doing, yeah, a reasonable amount of damage. 189 AD with that Atmas. Leap there from Kazik, throws out the missiles. A little bit of damage. Great hook there into Senu. Jinta makes it happen. But a shield there coming out as well. Toys picks up Zed though very quickly. BB though doing plenty of damage there in the back as well. Bug gonna go down. Him. Misfortune's still alive. And that's exactly what TPA wanted there. The triple for Toys. The quadra as well. Can he get the penta? Too far away from Ezreal. I don't think Victor's going to give it to him. But that might not matter there. I think TPA got exactly what they needed there. And what a grab from Dinter to kick things off. And really TPA, they did what their comp said. They had Olaf in the front. They had MF in the back doing stupid amounts of damage. And they had Rise as well. Just dishing out the pain. Just like he should. And what was a very subdued last 10 minutes has exploded into what's going to be the end here of our first game, and a pretty long one. An endurance test for both teams and even for myself. But a joy to watch here between these two teams.